the guy in Canada, right? Check this out. Let me get this up for a second. It now came up with this. I've got to go back one. So after the election, after our federal election, you know what's happening the following day overseas? This is happening. Rebel News is sending an all-star team to cover the World Economic Forum annual meeting. 5 journalists will travel to Davos, Switzerland to cover this year's gathering of elites. Right? The World Economic Forum meets in Davos, Switzerland next week. And the guy from Rebel News have a huge news. We're sending 5 investigative journalists to cover every inch that is placed to shine a light of scrutiny over the oligarchs. And so let's outline the plans. So this is from Rebel News. Rebel News have set up a special website where all of our World Economic Forum reports will be published throughout the week. Check it out and make the journalists involved. Go to www.wefreport.com. And while you're there, if you can, help the funding. So what is the World Economic Forum? It's billionaires, politicians, dictators, celebrities, and other oligarchs who will meet in luxury ski town of Davos, Switzerland, to scheme about their plans for the world. The World Economic Forum are the ones who talk about the Great Reset, the one who fly on private jets, but tell you that you can't drive a car. The one who says you'll own nothing and you'll be happy, while they gobble up billions of dollars. Politicians in every country seem to echo their talking points about Build Back Better and the Great Reset. Who are they and what do their plans mean? Who is their boss? Klaus Schwab, who looks and sounds like a James Bond supervillain. And joining us right now is Eric. Here we go. Let me just continue to read. Where is it? So who are they and what do their plans mean? Who is their boss? Klaus Schwab, who looks like or sounds like James Bond supervillain. Why does Justin Trudeau go there so often? And what does he talk to George Soros about when they meet there? Schwab boasts that his acolytes have infiltrated governments around the world. Is it true? We'll try to Rebel News here will try to answer those questions next week. And they're sending a great team of independents. So check this out, guys. Avi Yemini. We all know about Avi Yemini, Australian people, right? He's going over. Lewis Brackpool is coming from the UK. The newest reporter, Jeremy Lafredo, is going from New York. And they have 2 special guests, Ruskin Fernando, right? The real Ruskin from Australia. We know that people here in Australia. He's part of it, right? Right? He's going along. And Savannah Hernandez, one of America's great journalists from recent Blaze TV, and now with Truth Social, right? So the Rebel News are urging you've got to visit wefreport.com. It's a one-stop website to follow each of these 5 reporters and their work from Davos, Switzerland. The World Economic Forum meeting doesn't start until May 22. Coincidence that our state election is this coming Saturday, May 21. The following day, May 22, the World Economic Forum starts. But we already got a team around on the ground in Switzerland. And while there, we're also going to visit the UN WHO organization. They're having their annual conference at the same time. Rebel News says this mission is probably the most important journalism we ever done at Rebel News, but we need your help. Yeah, crowdfunding and in economic whatever. Yeah. Why boast that it's going to cost more than $14,000 for meals, car rental, air and being flights? Economy class, yeah, we get that. So, welcome, Eric. How you going, man?
I am okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. So the World Economic Forum starting next week, man. What's your thoughts on that? Bullshit.
Oh, again, the World Economic Forum.
Yeah, we got a federal election this Saturday, and the following day, this World Economic Forum does. So they couldn't time this out of anything better.
Right.
Federal election here in Australia this Saturday. The following day, the May 22nd, World Economic Forum having a bit of a freaking thing go. But I just want to go back to this thing. Do you see the new laws that been passed out here in South Australia from the South Australian government?
No, more laws, huh?
So
that's enough.
So let me just read this again. South Australia set to pass new COVID-19 laws. Check this out. This is going to... I mentioned this on Revolution Radio with you back in 2020, and you said, no way. Well, check this out. Check this out, Eric. The new laws to manage the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic here in South Australia are set to pass state parliament this week. The Labor government has secured a cross-bench support for changes as it plans to scrap the State Emergency Management Declaration by June 30. There's going to be a new State of Emergency Management. Don't worry about that. Under the changes, the government will continue to have the power to impose vaccine and mask mandates in hospital, aged care and disability care and other healthcare settings for the next 6 months. So around about Christmas time, there's still going to be these imposed vaccine and mask mandates in hospital, aged care, disability and other healthcare settings. Right? Now, check this out. Breaches of these laws could still be subject to a maximum penalty of up to 2-year jail term or a fine of up to $75,000 for business or $20,000 fine for an individual like you and me, Eric. So if you break any of these COVID laws, you can be subject to a maximum penalty here in South Australia, where I am, of up to 2-year jail term or a fine of up to $75,000 for a business or $20,000 for an individual. It's absolutely fucking insane. It's insane. Absolutely insane. But
well, they're reimposing mask mandates again. They're re-putting them in place in the United States right now in several libtard states. So, yep, they're not going away. You know, you ain't seen nothing yet, folks.
No. See, here's the thing I want to tell the new audience that just come on the Southern Truth. If you actually listen to the shows that Eric and I did on Revolution Radio back in the early days of 2019, 2020, especially around 2020, you will understand that the chemistry that Eric and I have, and a few other people that were on the show too, we will exposing this way back when it first started, right? Way back. But what I want the people today is to give them a flavor of what Eric and I do, right? When we talk about this, like, you know, we know there's corruption in government around the world, not just here in Australia and that, but America, Canada, UK, all that. But Eric and I, we've been trying to fight against the New World Order. But here's the major issue is, how are we going to fight against the New World Order when we can't even protect ourselves, especially here in Australia? How are we going to fight against a big, hairy, fat monster called the New World Order if we can't even defend ourselves? How are we going to...
You have big, fat, hairy, scary trolls,
yeah,
you know, on the net attempting to knock people trying to spread the truth down too. So you're like... You're dodging that. You're dodging this. You're trying to get to the final boss.
Yeah. But this is the thing, too. I mean, you know, Eric, can you turn your camera on for a second, man? This is a thing that I touched just briefly. Now, I know we don't like to bring up old stuff, but I think what I'm about to bring up is very, very important.
Hang on one second. Yeah? I got to have my crack pipe. Okay, no, I turn my camera on.
It's all right. It's all right. No, but Eric, we touched on a little bit yesterday on subversion and divisions when it comes to like the Patriot movement, or right now it's the freedom movement, right? I brought up the Oregon standoff. That was a flow-on effect from the Bunker Bill 2 years prior to the Oregon standoff. Can you just explain very quickly? I don't want you to explain everything what happened in Oregon, but the division that it caused among the Patriot movement back around the Oregon standoff and what led afterwards at the Oregon standoff.
Oh my God, that's how long? That's a long answer, man.
Yeah, but this is what I want the people to understand. They're saying there's divisions in the freedom movement
by design,
right? And I just
by design, folks.
And I've been trying to say that what you and I saw back in 2016 or 2015-16 from the flow-on effect from Bunkerville 2014 with the
Divide and Conquer 101. Divide and Conquer 101, folks, is what that was. And and it's working now.
Yeah. So can you just give the new audience that don't even know anything about the Oregon thing?
Oh my God!
No. Just the division. Don't worry about Pete Santilli and Deb Jordan.
Well, there was a good cause that was worth fighting for, and of course, agents infiltrated the entire situation, and a lot of people got arrested. A lot of people who were there for the right reasons got arrested. It was just it was another way to crush the resistance, if you will. Anybody who did have a good thought, they would ply. There's one guy, I don't remember his name, who they plied. They gave him a bunch of alcohol, and he was just getting all toasted. And he said some stuff he shouldn't, which, like if you would talk to people off air, about stuff, and bang, that dude's freaking in prison for life now. So yeah, there was. I mean, there's so much to say that there was a person there who was supposedly like one of the leaders of what truth is, named Pete Santilli, and he was filming the whole thing for the FBI. We're not even sure if he ever went to prison, or if he did, he went for a reason, or just but he popped back out. There's so much. Research the Oregon standoff if you've never heard of it. 2016, so many rabbit holes to go down. A lot of those people that I remember were all standing up for stuff, though, are gone now. They're nowhere to be seen. None of them. All these people that were just so America after all this stuff, where are they at? None of them are there anymore. What does that tell you about them? Exactly. Even the most staunch ones.
Exactly.
Pete Santilli turned into a right-left paradigm card. Yeah, I'm on the right now. I'm with them. Okay. Yeah. Whatever, man.
And I just want to say this. I remember when I was covering the rally here earlier this year, and you said to me privately, Jamie, do you see a coincidence here, Jamie? And I said, yeah. And you said, Oregon? I said, yep. And you did say to me, you warned me, Jamie, this is going to be a trap. You're going to feel the exact same thing that I felt back at Oregon. Everybody will treat you and put you on a pedestal, but when you probably will burn yourself out, and I did burn myself out.
There's some questions right here from Greg. Yep. Eric, do you have any of your old videos with Pete on hard drives? I have some. Most are gone. Was Pete ever on your show? Yeah, he was on our show constantly. Yeah, he was on Spitfire and the Sentinel show constantly. Jeff Hayes is the one who introduced me to him, because he had Jeff on. So it's Jeff's fault that I ever met that man.
But I want to ask you specifically, though, Eric, when you look at the freedom movement, that's what it's called now, right across the world, what similarities do you see from the Patriot movement, which was around the Bunkerville in Oregon, compared to the last 2 years? We're in our third year of the 14-day flattening the curve thing. How do you see the freedom movement? Like you and I saw it a mile away that, hey, this is going to cause a lot of divisions. It's going to be the same type of players involved, blah, blah.
It was a larger scale. I was in the 9/11 Truth movement beforehand, so it's very similar.
Yeah, that's what
conquer and divide. Like the flat earth versus round earth. I mean, they'll throw anything at you to try to get you guys to argue and not, look at the trivium. The goal.
here's the
What they
thing.
do.
Greg Fernandez said this. What did you guys think about Ammon Bundy running for office in Idaho? Eric, you want to comment on that?
Well, he was never going to win. It was a publicity stunt. I'd like to talk about what I thought about him yelling and screaming about masks. Yes, we're totally against them, and it's ridiculous. But at his son's football game, you remember when he got arrested, Jamie, at his son's football game, and they were winning. They were kicking the shit out of the team, and I guess it was for to advance to the state finals. So it was like regionals. It was a big deal, and he just couldn't keep his mouth shut and got arrested. They shut the game down, arrested him. I'm just like, you're a jackass.
Hey, why don't we get Hey, Greg, I'm going to drop the link in the chat room. You want to come on, man? Hit the link. Just hit the link and come on in, man.
I mean, why would you do that? I get standing up for what you believe, but I mean, just what? It just cost your son anyway. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's got a bad heart. His heart was probably in the right place, but from what we saw, I remember they were saying they were beating him and stuff in jail with no proof. All this stuff came out about the Patriots who got arrested, who were being
and the
mistreated.
Money. What about the money? What about the money that was created and it all disappeared? Like,
a lot of people made a lot of money off that too. That's interesting. You said that because dumb old blonde Eric never thought about putting a PayPal out there during that time. I was just trying to help. I thought this was a big deal. It was just another psyop to. And the thing is, they arrested some really bad people during that too. Like some of the people that you might have thought were in there for the good reason. Some of these people were there for really bad intentions too. So you had a bunch of people who were bad guys getting arrested. You had a bunch of people that were there that were good guys being arrested. And and anybody involved with it was tagged and classified. As
what about Eric? What about that Final Four thing that was broadcast on Gavin Shane? YouTube
the Final Four.
Yeah, Final Four, yeah.
Right.
The David Fry thing and everything like that. And
bring me a pizza, right? It was very tense because you thought they might get blown away. And you had the one guy and his wife. What were their names? There was a guy and his wife in there, and they're like, "We ain't coming. You can't take us alive." You know what I mean? Just doing that.
Yeah.
Of course, they were all taken alive. I wonder what happened to those people. I'm gonna have to. No, I kind of want to look back and do like a show, like where are they now? Like scrolling through your news feed. Where are these people now? Where's Bruce Lee now? Oh, he's in a grave. But where is Tommy Lee now? Or where is you know what I mean? These people. Where's Laverne from Laverne and Shirley now? I want to know where a lot of these people are now. I know they're not out here on the front lines anymore. That's what I know.
What about Sergeant Moe back at that day too?
Sergeant Moe, yeah. And who was that other Was she a state rep? Michelle
Michelle Michelle Frey? No, Michelle. Yeah, I know the Michelle you
I was on the phone with her and one night telling them to fuck off because they're liars. What was her name? Anyway.
She's from Las Vegas.
What was her name?
She was from Las Vegas. She was
somebody in the chat should know this, but
who was that lady? Michelle
whatever. Fiore. That was her name.
Michelle Fiore. Michelle Fiore.
Fiore.
Yeah, whatever. Where are they? Where are they? What about
a lot of damage was done during that time though, Jamie? It's interesting you brought that up.
There was a lady down there by the name of Jamie with blonde hair. Where's she? You know who really rose from that though? There was one person who really rose from that. Yep. And she's a constitutional lawyer. Michael Emery was down there.
Michael Emery was he got locked up. He was the longest held journalist in American history, contrary to what Pete Sanchilli wants to say.
Yep.
But KrisAnne Hall is still killing it right now.
Yeah, KrisAnne Hall.
She's one that rose freaking from that. She did one of the few.
What about this shit that I'm just hearing about Bobby Powell and Pete Sanchilli having a falling out?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. Yep, sure did.
Bobby Powell was so fucking like oil.
Hated us.
Yeah.
How dare you talk bad about Pete Sanchilli? You dare stand up to some measly government? He learned.
And here's the one that suffered the most. We need to touch on this just briefly. Orange Hat Man Ken, who was beside Deb Jordan after Pete got arrested.
I went to
and
Jeff
Deb Jordan
Lehman's
and
funeral
Pete
with him.
Chantilly just ran him down to the ground.
I actually went to Jeff Lehman's funeral with him after all that was over, and he got conned too. He gave. There's vulnerable people out there that give tens of thousands of dollars to these con people. You know, if we were the bad guys, we would have done that a long time ago. Because if these people could do it, we sure as fuck could do it.
Exactly.
But we don't, and that's why.
But the reason why I bring up the Oregon thing, because what we're currently saying now with the freedom movement is just a resemblance of what you, I, Jeff Lehman, Jeff Hayes, Laurie, Damien, all of us, Scott Scheller, all of us. We saw what happened down at Oregon, and what we saw now in the last 2 years of this complete bullshit, which you call the pandemic.
Right.
I believe we've all said that we want to be leaders. We need to lead on the front. But when we saw these rallies started to go really big and they started to get momentum, like the Oregon did, like Bunkerville did, when you start off small, it gains momentum. Then you start seeing the players involved and distractions and so forth. We are now saying the exact same thing right now in the freedom movement, because most of these leaders that organise these rallies around Australia are now trying to run for the Senate in the federal election this coming Saturday.
There you go.
And hi, Shay.
Hi, people.
Hey, people. Shay said.
Hello, Shay.
I know you mentioned yesterday that it was.
Hold on. Shay's got some breaking news. Okay.
So I know how you said yesterday that it was at the doctor's.
Yeah.
I ended up having to stay for 3 hours while I tried to get my blood pressure down. In the end, it still wasn't exactly where they wanted it, but it had come down enough that they let me come home. So I'm okay. He hasn't knocked me off.
Yeah, Shay just had a bit of a high blood pressure problem yesterday. She went down to see a doctor yesterday, and luckily we got it where it needed. It was what was the highest reading?
It was 178 over 130.
So we got here we go. Papa Gamer. We've got Mama Gamer's lover, the father of Mama Gamer, the one that keeps bitching about that we can't do our own investigation properly about the David Crowley case. Let's welcome the father of Mama Gamer, Greg Fernandez. How you going, Greg?
Hey, how are you, my friends? Always good to be here. Big Daddy in the house.
I want to ask you a serious question. How did you become the father of Mama Gamer?
Well, because I own them, obviously. When you're born from me, when you're born from my loins, when the only reason for your existence is because of me, when your focus is on me, I become your daddy. That's how it works.
So when you were making love to Mama Gamer's mother, like your partner, which is
that's
mother,
a nasty thought. I don't
were you listening to Phil Collins when you were making love to her mother?
Of course, I was watching Phil the whole time.
Blame Phil Collins. Blame Phil Collins. Blame Phil Collins.
Of course. What else would I be doing?
But Greg, we were just talking about the Oregon things. Like Eric and I and a few other people, including yourself, saw a lot of things happening around Oregon back in 2015-16. Now what we're seeing with this freedom movement, like back then it was the Patriot movement, now it's a freedom movement. We are seeing the same type of pattern going worldwide, where you have infiltrators, provocateurs, agents. They were getting money, like the Oregon stand-up. They're asking for donations, the same as the Freedom Rally. But here's the thing. These leaders that organise the Freedom Rallies, especially here in Adelaide, the lady that organised the Freedom Rally here in Adelaide, she's running for the Senate this coming Saturday in the federal election here in Australia. These leaders are now trying to run in politics. This is the thing. Around about September last year, it's when I started to see more of a political field in this freedom rally. They started to get political players from the federal and state government gathering into these rallies. And now they turn their narrative off, like we want to get rid of the mandates and all that, to put me on the ballot first and put everybody last. Vote for me, vote for me. You look over your left-hand shoulder at the rally while marching, there's someone holding a ballot, vote one for me. You look over your right shoulder, another political party got another ballot paper. So it turned into a political campaign. And these freedom rallies, freedom movement is divided now. We were talking just...
I don't know why there's 10 people in the chat room right now.
And
there's 3 of us on here, but it's only showing that they're... Oh, no.
Shadow ban. Shadow ban.
Oh, total shadow ban.
Shadow
You
ban
guys,
we should talk
you
about.
guys, you guys are the reason why they created shadow banning right here. That's what's really going on here.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's all your guys' fault, really.
Hey, Greg, do you
we
see...
are the reason for shadow ban.
Hey, Greg,
The top gamer, though, he's part of it, too.
I am the
Greg,
shadow.
Greg, I was just asking Eric, do you see a flow-on effect from what happened? Well, it even happened around the 9/11 truth movement. Eric just mentioned the 9/11 truth movement.
They got to
Great
believe what they
point.
believe.
Yep, that's. I think that's a great point. That's probably exactly what all of this is, which probably goes back, to all of the actual movements, right? For many years, we've kind of seen this same thing here too. I'm sure you could go back to the John F. Kennedy days, probably go back to the beginning of this country too, and maybe even back further, right? It
Go
just
back to
seems
the
like
bowel movement.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems. Yeah, no, you're totally right. Go back to the scripture, back to those days too. It's the same script, it's the same program, just with different people. In the end, I think it's all controlled by the same evil, the one evil source, and it's really up to us. It's up to good people to stand up, call people out on it, do whatever we can, and just stand for truth as much as we possibly can within our means, obviously.
Yeah. But how are we going to we
stand up, rise up, like Ron Jeremy.
Ron Jeremy. We all wanted to fight against the New World Order, but here's the main topic here for Australia. How are we going to fight against the New World Order if we can't even defend ourselves?
Yeah.
How can we do it?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of push come to shove, right? When they push you, and that's what they're doing. It sounds like they're doing it out there, where you are, Jamie. Mm-hmm. I think I don't know if it's because it's a smaller country or it just seems like
our country is the same size as the United States of America.
It's a little smaller, but it's pretty big. Yeah.
Our country is the same size as America.
It just seems like they're more blatant out there. Like a lot of the stuff that like Alex Jones and other people have been talking about for years and years, like you've been showing a lot of videos, showing a lot of things where that's happening. Like it's right in our face here. Whereas here, maybe it's because we're more, I don't know, your country, maybe it's just because we're more compartmentalized out here. We're more spread out. Maybe I'm just too busy with my 9-to-5 job. I can't pay attention. I'm watching too much baseball, too much wrestling. I don't know what it is. It could be a bunch of things.
Maybe it's because his country answers to a higher power, being a queen.
That's true too. Yeah, that could be it too. I mean, maybe it's because we had the greatest president in the last 4 years.
Queen.
It could be. although Eric, there are many people that say that we still answer to the Queen, right?
I think we probably all answer to the Queen still now. When it comes down to it, that's true.
Well, according to the Constitution,
not me, because I'm Big Papa Gamer. I answer to.
Yes.
I don't answer to any queens.
Well, Greg, according
that's what's up.
According to the Australian Constitution that got changed in 1973-74, the Queen is basically dead to Australia.
Oh,
she doesn't answer anything what Australia does, but apparently she's still the head of Australia, right? But she doesn't answer anything what Australia does when it comes to government. Matter of fact, she doesn't even do the same thing back in the UK. She can't make the government do what the government does.
But in reality, if you draw the pyramid, she's way up near the top of the peak still, along with the Vatican.
So basically, the Queen is basically dead when it comes to the Constitution. So,
Right. Right. It kind of
It's supposed to be.
anti-constitution.
Supposed to be. We're supposed to be a republic, but people keep calling us democracy.
Well, that's the way. That's the way.
People confuse these terms. A free republic is very different than a constitutional democracy. Very different. Different
Yeah.
things.
Well, see, I truly believe, and I don't know if this is going to be a right thing or a bad thing for Australia, but in a way, I truly believe Australia will become a republic eventually.
Wow.
And matter of fact, we already became.
I think it'll become like Iraq eventually, myself.
Wow.
Just the way things are going. Didn't you? Yeah. I mean, how much wildlife and freaking how much wildlife and lives were lost during those random fires?
Over 500 million wildlife.
500 million species
that's
lost
crazy.
and lives lost. I mean, you're looking more and more like Iraq every day, and it's coming to us in the U.S. soon. Buckle up, Greg. It's going to get exciting.
Coming to a town near you. Right.
It is.
Probably
check your local listings.
But here's the thing: Australia has already become a banana republic within itself. Right? There's states against state here in Australia, kind of like America. When you've got your red and your blue states in America, well, here in Australia, it's kind of like that here too, but a bit.
Well, maybe you should move here, Jamie. Maybe it's time to make that move, man. You know, you can cross that border right now in Mexico.
I don't think you can. You got to be jabbed, don't you? You can't make any moves from there.
No,
no.
Tell them that you're Mexican.
They've locked him down.
Tell them that you're Mexican. Tell them that you're Mexican. You're crossing the border. You're good.
You can leave Australia. It's just that it's a lot harder to get back into Australia. That's the thing.
Yeah, might as well jump right out of the frying pan and right into the fire. Come on over to the U.S. Come on over to the New Babylon.
Yeah, just tell them that you love Biden.
And didn't
pro-Biden. They'll let you right in.
And didn't you say back in 2020, Eric, when Shay and I were coming to America, we were just about to get our plane ticket, and the next day we got into lockdown, you said to me, why the fuck would you want to come to America for? This was back in January of 2020. Why the fuck would you want to come to America for?
Right.
Anyway.
Right.
Well, tell us why did you want to come to America?
Because Shay wanted to see some of the museums over there. I wanted to go to Washington Mall and meet up with Eric, meet up with Damien, and obviously you in California, right? We were going to spend about 6 or 3 months in America, just travel around. But Shay wanted to see some of there's a museum, some type of museum where everything is in it. One of the museums.
We could have took you out to the Grove, the Bohemian Grove, which is coming up here in 2 months. So they're going to be in full swing this year. The Bohemian Club is back in action, guys. It's coming out. So if you guys want to come out, please do it.
Shay, what was that museum?
Smithsonian.
The Smithsonian. Oh,
yeah. Shay wanted to say that. And here's the thing, Greg. When we were about to pay the ticket from Sydney to LA, was only going to cost us $750 each.
Wow, that's good.
And that was good. We were about to pay it. We were about to pay it. And next minute we went into lockdown. So and here's
that's like a 12-hour trip or something, right? How long is that flight? That's a long flight.
Yeah, it's about 16 hours. Yeah,
it's a Ron Jeremy long flight.
Is this coming through? Can you hear it?
Yeah, just. You can hear it, just.
Well, you were talking about it, Jamie.
Talking about coming to America. Here we go.
They're coming to America.
Phil Collins.
Phil Collins comes to the USA, and he's bringing Jamie and Shay. Oh yeah.
Sorry. You name a subject, I can put a song to it.
I'm sure you could.
It's a curse and a gift.
Hey, Eric.
Yeah, Mary, why come here? At this point, it's time to find a bunch of like-minded individuals and buy an island.
Eric, do you see? I want to play this 2-minute video. Do you see this video that came out a couple of days ago about the number one person here on YouTube?
Number one person on YouTube.
Yeah, Tamara Wolf.
Oh,
She's
No,
always good for. I'm always up for a good one.
I've got to hear it. Yeah, I've
All
got
right,
to hear it.
okay, guys, we're going to do something different today, guys. All right. So this
We're gonna
video,
go from 9 viewers to fucking 59.
yeah. We are.
Because that's what
We
matters to people who follow our shows.
We are.
That's
So
math.
check this out. So now, Eric and Greg, remember the topic about the game over video? Of course you do, Eric.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Who,
now
me?
check this out.
Game over.
Yeah. Game over. Now check this out. Check this
That's
out.
not the blue light one. That's not the blue light.
Death threats, Sentinel, Satan.
Now, check this out. This is about the game over.
Oh
And
my god. Is that
Check
Mama
it out.
Gamer there on the screen? Who's
no,
that?
that's Tamara.
The final boss right there, bro.
That's supposed to be Tamara Wolf.
Wow. that
Now-
is the final one.
Check us out. Your game over video. Better stop it now and back the hell off of us. Started all this. Remember? Thomas. Toothy. Oh my God, guys. Toothy used to ride my ass all the time. Speaking of Thomas,
Thomas Schoenberger. Thomas
the email
Schoenberger.
said, "You're an extraordinary woman." I said, "That's because you're an extraordinary man." Very dark.
Hi.
He caught Toothy lying. I always liked Thomas. Like him. There's just something about his energy where I'm drawn to him, like a
Ooh,
magnet.
sexy.
There's just something very mystical,
Very hot.
magical, something. What is the word I'm looking for? But God, I love this man. Thomas.
Hot Thomas.
Thank you, God. Thank you, God, the Father Almighty, for Thomas Schoenberger.
Wait, who?
How come they get
Well,
to
guess
touch
what?
with me for this?
Now the game is officially over.
Uh-oh. Thomas into the game?
It's not him, it's the music. His fucked up brain. When you are weak in one area, another will excel.
Who? What the hell? Who is Thomas?
Somebody named
first?
Bavana. Get in touch with me. I could put some background music to that too, and make it
That was pretty
even
good.
hotter.
That was hot. I mean, she had three tits and 4 chins going on there. Doesn't get much hotter than that.
Yeah. Most of these people will not know what we're talking about that tuning in. Yeah.
If you understand trolls, you can't understand people like this though.
Yeah.
Straight people do 99.9% of the time will never meet in person.
Mm-hmm.
Real men.
So that's
Men.
she's your guys' fan, the head of your guys' fan club. there. So give us some context to that. Who is
You
Thomas?
should be nicer. That is part of our fan base.
Well,
Shit.
Good point, Greg.
You got to be polite, man.
Whether you want to hear it or not.
nah. Polite? Polite? That's a dirty word, Greg. Polite?
That's
a dirty word.
Maybe, yeah, of course, for Jamie, that's a dirty word. Well, he doesn't even respect Phil Collins, one of the greatest artists ever, which is fine. That's okay.
I don't
come back
respect.
to that.
I've got him sitting here in my freaking album collection here.
All right. Well, you pretty much accused him of killing David Crowley. So, I mean, we got some beef, brother. We got some big beef.
Yeah, we have to.
We got some Ron Jeremy beef up in here.
Got some prime rib
Ah.
on this folks.
And that Ron
Right.
Jeremy doing a striptease in the lounge room. And that Judy just piping her head through the window. Is that Ron Jeremy? Call 911. I see a stiffy here.
He just committed suicide. He's got a mankini on. He committed suicide.
Mankini. You got mankinis, manginas.
And then-
Yep, we're
and
doing-
then- Judy,
I'm sending Jamie a mankini. By the way,
I already got
That's
one.
coming. Oh, you got
I
one?
already got-
Okay.
I've got one. I'm not showing the audience the photo.
Put it on. No, put that on. Put it
I've
on
got
right
it.
now.
bro.
I've already got a photo.
We want
No,
to
I
see
don't want
the
a photo. I
Spider-Man
want to see it
mask and
live.
And the mankini.
I've already got
You
a
gotta see it
photo.
all at once with granny
I've already got a
food jar in
photo.
your hand.
I've already got a photo on my Facebook.
Dude, that would be the day you would want to put out fucking donations to PayPal or whatever else. Memo. But
Fans
if
only.
if you're in a
That's the
mankini wearing
There's the
your
photo.
Spider-Man fucking mask with the
You'll
granny
get
food in your hand, that would be the
You
day.
got it.
That
I
goes
will- I will
viral, bro.
I will
Imagine-
drop.
You have the
funds.
balls to do it. I don't. I don't. Greg,
I-
you? I don't
Imagine-
think Greg has- I
imagine
don't
this.
Yeah, I'll do it.
that.
Imagine
Oh,
this.
you really?
Only if
You'll
Jamie.
do it?
Only if Jamie does it first. Yeah. I'll do it.
I
Oh
already
my
have
God.
done it in the backyard. I've got a photo of it. I've got a photo on Facebook. I'm not showing it here. I'll get.
No, I
taken
don't want a
down.
photo. I want to see it live.
Well, fuck. I'm all about peer pressure. So if you guys do it, I'll do it too.
There you go. All right.
Well, imagine going down. Well, check this out. I'm not saying I'm going to do this.
Three
Give me a
amigos.
window. I gotta get my Spider-Man mask.
No. Go down.
I got to get my legs in order. I got to
Go
do
down to the
some
polling.
squat
Yeah,
thrust.
go down to the
I gotta find my magic marker and write granny fluid on a
Go
jug.
down to the
That's gonna take
polling
a while.
booths on Saturday, wear the mankini and put the Spider-Man mask on. Yeah, right.
Love it.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, people would love to see that. People would love me to see that, eh?
We
All right,
did,
so
Jamie and I did some Phil Collins.
We do.
Oh, you did?
We did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
here I
we
think
did.
I loaded. Here, I'll load it up for you. Here you go.
Yeah.
Let me know if
Yeah.
you can hear it. Okay. We did a little Phil Collins. Tupac jumped in, remade Phil Collins, and we kind of meshed it all up into some granny fluid.
Eric and I did Phil Collins. You're going to love this.
Just let me know if you can hear it. Okay, folks.
Yeah, just.
Staring out the window through my rear view.
You can see the lyrics. Screen share. All right. All right.
You love this song, Greg.
Classic.
I can't hear it on my backup monitor. Is it coming through okay?
Yeah.
Oh, it is? All right. Cool.
Pump it up.
Greg, you ready for this? Can you put your camera on? I want to see your reaction.
Oh, Granny. I've been waiting for the granny for all my life. Oh, Granny. Oh, Lord. Can you feel that granny through the night? Oh, Granny. Oh, Lord. Oh, Granny. Oh, Lord.
The number one song on YouTube right now.
Well, if the granny was drowning, I would not let her hand. I see your face before my friend, but I don't know if my granny's who I am. Granny's who I am. But I was there when I saw what the granny did. That's always my only wife. So you can wipe out that fluid. But know when you've been staying up like a liar.
Boom.
And I can feel my granny fluid coming tonight. Granny. Well, I've been waiting for the granny for all my life. Oh, Granny. Oh, Lord. Yeah, I can feel the granny fluid coming tonight. Oh, Granny. Granny. granny for all my life. Oh, granny, oh, granny.
I did this at 4 o'clock in the morning, Greg. 4 o'clock in the morning.
How could I ever forget? It's the first time.
The last time that the granny's wet.
Granny's wet. But I don't know the granny's right. You keep your silence on. Now don't fool me.
Know where you been.
Granny too grown. Granny than you and me. I feel the granny's oh, granny.
I've been waiting for the granny fluid all my life.
Oh, granny. I can feel the granny fluid coming. Oh, granny. I've been waiting for the granny for all my life. Oh, granny.
The force may be with you. The force is strong. The force is strong. Oh shit. What's Eric gonna do now? Oh shit. Here comes Eric. Oh shit. Ah! Oh fuck it. Oh fuck it. I'm gonna join in just the sake of it. Just hold on.
Oh, granny.
Ah, fuck this shit. I just put this on.
Oh my god.
Anyway, let me get this off. Oh shit. All right, guys, we just had a bit of laugh there. There's a group on YouTube that Eric and I came up with a couple of years ago called the Granny Fluid. And yeah, no, it's not Pacific, no Pacific gender. And
You got Chewbacca, you got Stormtroopers. What else could you ask for in a fucking podcast, motherfuckers? Oh, Han Solo.
Oh shit, Han Solo. Put your hands in my pocket, and the other one touching me asshole to you. May the force be with you. But anyway, Michael Brown says this, guys. The UN and the WHO countdown. 100 hours left now for countdown begins. We know there's a World Economic Forum and that meeting on the 22nd, and I don't know what's on Eric's head. He's got his antennas on. He's like an ant here. It's like antler.
My tinfoil hat.
Oh, if the hat fit, wears it. So,
The antlers. I even have antennas, man. It's an advanced hat.
So what do you reckon, guys? Next week, the World Economic... Oh, shit! You're too young to be here today. Shit. Hey, Greg, do you clean that with granny fluid?
No, I can't purchase any. I can't afford any here. Can barely afford gas over here, man. Come on.
Yeah, you see the price of gas at one place? It's almost $10 a freaking gallon.
That's crazy. Got to get a hybrid.
Yeah.
I got a hybrid, so it's not too bad.
Yeah. How can people afford the fucking thing? I mean, here in Australia, they're talking about the cost of living. Well, how can you put a price on the cost of living?
Yeah.
I mean, you just simply can't. I mean,
No, you can't. No.
but what do you think, Greg? Next week, the World Economic Forum and the WHO. Oh shit! What the? the Wizard of Oz, the Tin Man
If I
here.
only had a brain.
Fucking hell! I need to up my game a little bit here. I need to buy some more masks. I need to go and buy some more masks.
He just happened to have just got attacked. He got attacked.
Call 911. Call 911. What the hell?
Oh my god. You guys are off the hook tonight. Not just tonight, but
Can anyone
I feel it in the air tonight for
Yeah,
sure.
we certainly can. Hey, Greg, can someone give Eric mouth to mouth? I'm over here. We won't be able to reach.
No, I can't help. Sorry. Good.
fine.
Oh, we got the Tin Man. Tin Man's up in here. I got my
Eric,
tinfoil hat. I am a tinfoil hat. Oh, there we go. Eric's showing some of those skills there. See, all of his life he was training for this moment here.
Off the top rope, brother.
Take
And there
your
he goes.
vitamin.
Oh, that's an illegal move right there. Can you believe this? Vince
Say your
McMahon.
prayers and drink your vitamin. I can feel the power. From
We
your
have a new
throat,
champion. We have a new champion. Eric Spitfire Wilkinson wins. He is the new WWF champion.
That's a bit of a workout for you, Eric.
Yeah. Eric just proved this is why you don't mess with Eric, man. He'll take you down. He took
So-
the Kid Man down.
Just going a little bit serious here. I mean, Melissa, one of our
Let's do it.
people here from Queensland in Australia, the United States, and someone saying 100 hours to the permanent takeover. UN, World Economic Forum, and WHO. What's your thoughts on that, Greg and Eric?
Say that again. I didn't hear that last part.
Okay, apparently
US
someone in the US
Mhm.
is saying 100 hours to they permanently take over.
No.
UN, World Economic Forum, and WHO. Is there a website, guys that listening?
Yeah.
Can you is there a website with the countdown on it, like a clock?
Hey guys,
100
I've been hearing this for years. I worked at a company where they thought that the world was going to end in May
the
May 21st,
Are you
2011
talking
or
about?
something.
You're talking about the doomsday clock.
Yeah. So I mean, we've been hearing this stuff. I think we're basically ready for it. I think all of the good patriots, all of the
Are
good
you
people of this
ready?
world, we're ready. And if you're not ready, believe me, when the S hits the F, you will be ready. There will be no doubt because it will be fight or flight. So I don't have any. I'm not worried about it. I think we've all been kind of prepping for this. That's why there's been such a big attack on preppers because hey, we've been prepping since before there was preppers. I mean, you
Yeah,
have
well,
to
what
be ready
about-
and you have to stay ready.
What about the story that coming out of the United States with the shortage of baby formula? I mean, here in Australia, they were stockpiling baby formula before.
What do you need baby formula for? You got plenty of milk out there. You got plenty of women out there. There's milk to go around for everybody.
You
Lots of
call-
titties.
Give me some titties.
That's the new thing, Greg. You've seen it too. The baby formula.
saying
that breast milk is not as healthy as their super duper baby.
Oh my god! Oh, there is nothing more natural, nothing more healthier than breast milk. Why would you need anything else? We have goat milk. You have cow milk. So unless we get rid of cows, get rid of
Oh, and
goats, and
cow
get rid
milk.
of
That's not
We
designed.
got camel milk. We got camel milk. Like here's the thing about
That's not
Australia.
There you
designed for
go.
humans to drink, though. Even as
we got
got them-
we got
got them-
squirrel milk here, so we're
Check this
ready.
out. Australia's got one of the biggest camel populations in the world. You wouldn't think so, but yeah, Australia got one of the biggest populations of camel. We get camel milk here in Australia. Camel milk.
I think goat milk and donkey milk are actually two of the best ones. But obviously, you can't go wrong with breast milk, real natural breast milk. So, I mean, come on.
Catherine says this. Apparently,
Plus, it's
you can't
free.
give- Apparently, Catherine says you can't give cow milk to little babies.
Yeah,
Apparently.
she's right. Yeah, she's right.
because
She's
they
right.
like us. Like I'm lactose tolerant too, so I've got to be careful what milk I drink.
Now, what does Catherine think about goat milk though? Because I think goat milk for babies, or maybe not babies. I mean, really, it should just be breast milk for babies, right?
But
That
not
should be
all women do breastfeeding.
But there's other. I mean, come on. That's just
Yeah.
to me. That's
Well, you
just
can
lazy.
make-
What do the pregnant
That's
men
laziness.
do? What
about the pregnant men?
What pregnant do?
Yeah,
Semen.
hold
Semen.
it right there. Hold it right there.
That's legit.
Eric,
Man
Right,
man
That's your
milk.
question, man.
yeah,
That's true.
yeah, hold it right there. So, did you see the Calvin Klein freaking advertisement over the weekend?
Obviously.
Yeah, well, check this out, Greg. Greg, check this out. So this was from the Calvin Klein advertisement, right, over the weekend. Just let me grab this. Right, this is absolutely sick, absolutely sick. So Calvin Klein did an underwear bloody advertisement with a pregnant trans man, and apparently he had the trans woman beside him. Right?
Obviously
Let me-
not inclusive.
Oh, so let me just grab this.
Give me
Let
my
me
safe
just grab
space,
this.
motherfucker.
So, talking about freaking baby formula and all that, well, check this out. Where are you? I've got it right here. Oh, Jesus. I've got to scroll up. I've just got to scroll. Here it is. Now, check this out, Greg. This is absolutely sick. Boom. Pregnant trans man stars in Calvin Klein Mother's Day ad. Check it out.
No, there you go. They can grow them in tubes. They can grow them in men's bellies. That's the way our creator intended it, folks.
Have a look at my sexy body. Ah, have a look
That's
at
the.
my
I mean, that's the worst
body.
thing. That's the worst thing a human being could do. It's the worst thing that a male could do. It's not natural. That's why they're making a big deal about it. This
You're
goes to
racist,
what
sexist and
this is what they want. Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. Sorry. I mean, excuse me for following what the Bible says, that we all came from one man and one woman. Really sorry about that. I mean, if you just look at the whole natural.
My Bible
way,
says it was Adam. It wasn't Adam and Eve. It was
Adam and Steve?
That's what my
Okay,
Bible
well.
says. Well, I don't know what Bible you're looking at.
Well, that's how you know if it's a real Bible or a fake Bible
Right.
right there. But I'll be right back.
It's off the
guys.
chart.
I got a lot to say about that. I'll be right
You
back.
got men saying they're having periods. Come on now. What the fuck's going on, folks? It's good stuff. It's
Did
great.
you hear about this other stuff that over in India, they're actually putting transplants into men to have like a womb and shit like that.
Yep.
It's over in
Mhm.
India right
Yep.
now. They're putting these transplants into a male body. It's like,
It's very inclusive.
I do get it, Catherine. It is a woman taking testosterone. I do get that. But the moral of the story is,
So I just got one question about this. How much do they pay to have it done?
I don't want to fucking guess.
I mean, the right amount of money. I might put a little baby in my stomach. You never know.
I don't want to guess.
I know
But
Big
here's
Pop
the thing.
Gamer would.
Could be.
I give you $100,000 right now to put a baby in your tummy. You
No.
good with that?
No. I shoot bullets. I don't shoot blanks.
Big Papa Gamer.
Game over.
That's right. Game over. But this person's obviously a female taking testosterone, but that person identified that person as a male now.
And the
And
problem
now-
is it's going to get way worse, folks. It's going to keep going.
And keep going. I mean,
We want to talk about the Hobbit-Heinteen thing. I mean, that's coming back like with a vengeance.
it
Right
already
now,
is here. I mean,
lots of
influenza-
states are bringing the mandates back in the restaurant. It's all coming back.
It's all coming back to
It
me
is. They're bringing
now.
all the mask mandates. We're in a fifth wave of COVID. We gotta use the word COVID because if we say the right word, then
I'm going to start calling
Yeah.
people camels. Do they have one hump or two? Just for the sake of it. I mean, you
What
can
if it
identify.
identifies as having two
Yeah,
humps?
you can identify yourself as anything. So I'm going to start calling some people camels. You have one hump or two. I mean, but anyway,
Well, I mean,
But,
apply that to camel toe. What do you get out of that?
yeah. Oh, just,
What if they have to?
But-
all right.
oh, man.
Yep, the world is getting crazier and crazier, and we're going to be right here to report on it.
Well, here's a serious question for the audience. What are we going to do about this? I mean, we've been talking about, well, we need to keep fighting, keep being vigilant and shit like that. But if people go out their own way to do this, there's nothing we can fucking do about it. We can't save them.
We just can only hope to wake people up and reach that critical mass to where you can shift, with energy. And it is possible, but the more people getting jabbed, the less likely it
You know
becomes.
what's here in Australia right now, Eric and Greg? Here in Australia is what they call flurona, where you have influenza and corona together at the same time. It's called flurona.
Right, because the flu disappeared. Now it's flurona.
Well,
100 years from now, people won't even know the flu existed.
the flu just made a comeback to us.
Don't call it a comeback.
A reunion. You pay $60 to go to that concert, and you'll be all right. But I wish people, will figure it out for themselves that it's going to get worse, guys, before it gets better. There's always light at the end of the tunnel, but unfortunately, I'm not.
If the tunnel is crashing down and collapsing all around you, there actually isn't any light at the
I
end.
don't want to give out false hope.
No,
guys.
we're not
I'm
giving
just
out
saying-
false vibes. We're just saying, friggin' fight, because what happens in the next life is what's really important.
Yeah. I mean, what are we trying to climb up the ladder to see how far we can get? Fuck that. Fuck off. I mean, we know people say it's all about control. No shit, Sherlock. We know it's about control. But there's far more things going on than just to control the society. There's far more things going on. But what do we do? We got to hit it from the base up. We got to hit it from the ground up. But I mean, here's the thing too. Most of these leaders in the freedom movement are becoming people that they despised of back 2 years ago. They are becoming the exact same person that they criticized, judged, ridiculed, slander, everything else. They're becoming that type of person. And this is where the divide comes into play. I'm just throwing it out there. It's going to get worse. And now we've got the federal election here in Australia this coming Saturday. I want next Monday to be a public holiday so we have an extra day off to get over the bullshit, to recuperate. It's just going to be absolute shambles. It's only going to get worse if you vote the right person in. Well, here's the thing. I don't have any confidence in anybody in there at the moment.
No, we're not going to vote our way out of this. That's for sure. That I'm confident on. I'm not confident if the Tin Man is not going to try to come assassinate me, but I am confident that we're not going to vote the right person at this point.
What are we going to do about it? Maybe
We're going to keep fighting and hopefully try to continue to wake people up as best we can.
Yeah, well, I think what it is too, Eric, is that the problem is here in Australia, it's different in America. There's only a niche group that are currently awake compared to the rest of the society, which I truly do not give a damn anymore about society. I haven't given a damn about society for a long, long time because there's nothing I can do to persuade them differently. If they can't save themselves, what hope in hell do I have to save them? If they can't willingly help themselves or save themselves, there's nothing I can do.
All part of the plan, right?
Well, I don't like cutting people. I don't like cutting people off, like leaving people behind. But I think in this moment of time, we just have to.
Look how well they did, though, this last go around. These last 2 years of dividing mothers and fathers and children and cousins and aunts and uncles and siblings. Look at how they divide by the the jab thing, man. I mean, look out and their whole outlook on this thing. They just did another, and they're very patient. Again, people are waiting for like this. This isn't like the rapture is today's stuff. They're very patient. They're going to slowly but surely make people sicker and make people more compliant. Period. This is not one of the things that Jamie and I have always like freaking hated is when people make predictions. Like on this date or this year, it's all going to go down. You don't know that. But we do know that it's a slow trickle towards tyranny, complete tyranny, period. And we're going to fight it every step of the way, whether it kills us, because we ain't afraid to die.
On Revolution Radio back in January of 2020, Eric and I was on air on Revolution Radio, and I came across something about this. They already tested back in January of 2020, before we even got measures of restrictions of COVID, right? They already tested 28 different variants of this COVID-19. They tested it. There were 28 different variants, right? And Eric, you can back me up. I've still got the file about it, right? 28 variants, which also included the HIV in it. Now, the only thing that got my attention in this COVID-19 or whatever you want to call it, the only thing that comes anywhere close to previous viruses was the SARS-CoV-2.
Well, yeah, you, as Judy Mikovits told us, you have a big mix-up now of SARS, HIV, and I mean, you have a big mismatch of horrific things coming, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. Don't forget, people. What's the town in China that has 13 million people that's still locked down? We're not trying to be Debbie Downers here, but again, as Greg said earlier, if you're prepared, you're prepared. If you're not at this point, good luck.
I reckon it's too
Good luck.
late. If you haven't been prepared now, it's far too late. It's too late, in my opinion.
Anyway, I remember saying the same thing, Jamie, back when we used to show the FEMA coffins that came, the 400,000, that they were just plastic something for refuse, and which they perfectly can fit a couple. Anyway, we've talked about this, man. We said this years ago, though. I remember saying the same thing you just said. Remember that if you're not ready now, and here we are. You've had another 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
Hey, can I go back to one thing where that person who was talking about that whatever they're going to take over. Like, I don't want to belittle that thought either, because that's just another person who, we need to be ready for these things, for whatever is happening. It may have already happened. We may not even know that these things have happened here. Yeah. So I don't want to make it seem like we're taking it lightly or anything. No. For people that are trying to give us warnings that are very sincere, like, hey, guys, there's something happening here. It's going to happen in the next 100 hours or something. Yeah. I'm not saying that we're not going to look into it or take it seriously or anything like that. But when it comes down to it, we are ready.
Exactly.
I've been ready for this my whole life.
Exactly. And here's the thing too, Greg. Many people will deem it, just propaganda. Well, whether it is propaganda or not, the point is this: it's happening. No matter who is actually doing it, and if it's propaganda, the point of the matter is it's happening. It's happening. Because
hey, Jesus, Christ told us to be ready. I take that seriously.
Yep. And we need to be ready. I mean, what is it? Okay, this is a loaded question.
Can I bring up something? Can I bring up one more thing?
Yeah,
where you guys were talking about the actual voting process and all of that. And I do vote. I do think people should vote. I think you guys are absolutely right. It's not the end all be all, but it takes like 20 minutes out of your life. It's like, it's not a big deal. Yes, it's not going to
red and blue states, Greg. Yeah. I mean, we get it. They're two wings of the same bird, blah, blah, blah. But the difference between what happened over the past 2 years with this COVID-19 thing in red states and blue states is night and day. Without
Yeah, I
a
mean,
doubt. The census is done. You can't disregard that. No matter
No,
if you're one of
and-
those guys who thinks everybody's bad, you cannot disregard that their economy prospered and that
they
have the
wouldn't
lowest
need.
rate, and they
There
did
wouldn't be
nothing
any.
with. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I keep.
No,
cutting
no,
you
no,
off.
no. Go ahead. That's all I want to put in there is that there is a huge difference between blue and red.
Yeah, I would just say, the only reason why there is voter fraud, the reason why they have to do voter fraud is because they're worried about real people voting. Now, obviously, it's not going to solve everything, but it's obviously some type of a threat, or else they wouldn't even care about it. They wouldn't focus on it. And there was a huge focus, in my view, in 2020. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie 2000 Mules.
Absolutely spot on.
I have not seen it yet, but I am looking forward to watching it.
Well, you're spot on. The whole thing with voter ID. Like, why shouldn't you have an ID to vote? That whole thing. That's racist.
Yeah.
Or something. That makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
None.
Because they used to actually use that to keep people from voting. And it was to keep people of, who were of a certain nature or a certain color, blah, 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 whatever you want to say. And now it's like, okay, now it's like, if we want them to vote, it's like, no, we want to make sure that everybody's vote counts. You can't do that if you have what is happening now. If you have people jumping borders, voting here, voting there, getting paid to actually vote, homeless people voting, people that are not actually registered, people walking in, people that you cannot actually verify if they've actually registered to vote or if they should be voting. There's nothing wrong with it.
You're a racist.
Of course, it does set a bad precedent, right? Because that's what they want. They want that stuff. So they're always playing both sides. So I get it.
Sorry,
One
Greg,
side is clearly more sane than the other,
Yeah.
though.
We'll say
One side's
Catherine says
actually
this.
crazy.
Catherine says this in the chat room. When she first started voting, everyone had to have an
wow.
ID. It's the same here in Australia. Here
Well,
in
you're
Australia,
racist if you say that now, didn't you?
but
Sexist.
everybody here in Australia,
Anti-feminist. You're everything. If you,
but everybody here in Australia over the age of 18, when you turn 18 here in Australia, it's compulsory to vote. Everyone gets an ID, right? A voter ID.
oh yeah, tell
When you-
Greg about this. So Greg, in his country, you have to vote.
Yep.
You don't have a choice. Tell him about that.
So when you turn 18 here, Greg, right, it's compulsory to vote, whether it's state or federal.
What if you
Right? It's
don't? What if you don't vote?
You get heavily fined.
Isn't that
Can
crazy,
you
Greg?
can you vote for somebody that's not on the ballot?
Well, here's the thing.
Can you do a
That-
write-in vote it for Bart
No,
Simpson?
don't, because that vote still gets counted to the sitting member that
But can
currently
you?
sit.
Can you do that without getting fined? Can you write in? Is what he's asking.
You can do that. You can
Oh.
draw like
We
I
can
don't
find the
recommend.
loophole, Greg. That was good.
So I can vote for Phil Collins.
That's a great- that's
You
a great
can't,
call.
but let me be serious, Greg. You
No,
can't.
that is
Australian
serious.
But hold on. But being serious, Greg, that vote will only get counted to the sitting member that currently sitting in Parliament. at
Oh,
vote.
so it doesn't count to anything. You
Right?
could do that. But okay.
So you can draw a penis on your ballot
Well,
paper,
we'll go to one of the two.
which they did last federal
That makes
election.
sense. Does that make sense to you,
Right.
Greg? So no matter
So,
who you vote
yes.
for, it's going to go to one or the other, even if you.
So wait,
draw a
so
penis.
but how do they divvy that up? If I put Phil Collins, if I write in Phil Collins,
Because it's still if you mark like when you get your ballot paper, we don't have computers here yet. Touch
thank
wood.
God.
Touch wood, it's fucking coming. Right? It is coming here in Australia. But anyway, when you go to the polling booth here in Australia, you get two pieces of paper. You get the green one, which has your candidates in your area for the Senate. Well, the candidates, right? For House of Representatives, the green one. Then you get the big fat ass white one for the Senate. Now, here's the thing. Due to the Australian Election Commission, the AEC, oh, Greg just dropped off. I wish I can explain it more. Greg just dropped off.
I think he wanted to know if you could write in a candidate.
You can't, if you mark that piece of paper, even if you just put a dot on it,
So but you have no space for a write-in candidate. You have to vote one or the other.
let me finish.
Okay.
If you put somebody else's name and put a box there and put number one there, That
Well, you
vote-
just answered the question. So you would have to draw your own box.
Yeah, I mean, do they have a place where you can write in people?
They don't.
Yeah,
Obviously.
but I don't recommend. But Greg and Eric, I don't recommend doing this because it still
Sure.
gets counted to the sitting member that currently sits.
But I guess what he's asking is, where does it go to? Like if you
Yeah,
write
yeah.
in, if you wrote in big
Okay,
top and
well,
Beamer,
To the
It
sitting
depends-
member, he's saying.
It
Right.
depends who's the sitting member.
Gotcha.
Now this is what I'm doing, and people want to do it. It's up to them. Here in Australia, you've got two things. You've got an informal vote. That's when you mark the ballot paper. That's called an informal vote. What I'm doing is a non-informal vote, which means I get my name marked off the election roll, but I don't mark the ballot paper. I just fold it up and put it in the bin,
Jamie.
in the ballot box. Right?
Jamie, can I ask you? Do you have to vote for everybody? Can you just vote
you
for?
don't. You don't.
So-
you don't. As long as you get your name marked off when they hand the ballot paper, you're lining up,
Mhm.
and there's a person there. Ask for your name.
yeah,
and
Catherine
whatnot.
Michelle, holy cow, that's crazy. Yes,
But let's
Right.
say,
crazy.
but let's say that I do want to vote
Right.
for just one right. I don't want to vote for the prime minister or whatever. Let's say I just want to vote for a measure.
You can do that. You can do that. You
Okay.
can do that.
Okay,
you can
that's
vote
cool.
You
for any.
can,
You can vote for any member that is currently sitting on
but
the
you
ballot.
can't vote for somebody that's not sitting there. You can't vote.
No,
you
no,
can't
no,
do
no,
it
no.
Right in.
Yeah, you can. That's other candidates. Like in my
No,
area,
no, but you can't write in your own candidate.
you can, but I recommend not to do it because it still get counted for the sitting member.
That's crazy.
Okay,
That's interesting.
I think that's
Okay,
the question you were getting to,
Okay,
Greg.
let
That's
me
why I
explain
know
it.
that's-
that was
explain
one.
So let me
One of
explain
two.
it. So let me explain it. Say that you, Greg, get your ballot paper, the green and the white one, and you
Yeah.
put a box there, and beside the box you put Phil Collins. It's what they call a donkey vote,
Okay.
right? Which is it's still indeed called an informal vote. You're still marking that ballot paper.
Okay.
If you don't mark that ballot paper, it's what they call a non-informal
So it's kind of the same
vote.
if you vote for somebody other than Democrat or Republican in the
Okay, but-
United States.
But here's my real question. Yeah, here's my real question. Like here, we vote for measures, we vote for props, we vote
Right.
for city councils, we vote for state senators, we vote
Right.
for the president. What if I just
Governors.
voted for one measure
Right.
and I left
We don't-
everything else blank?
We've
That's
voted
not
on
how.
different
That's not how.
line items,
It's yeah,
correct.
So
Here's
I have to vote
my-
for everything.
No.
is what you're
Right.
saying.
Well, let me explain.
We don't
it.
get fined if we don't vote.
Let me
though.
explain. Let me explain. Let me
that's,
explain.
that's the big
No,
difference.
this is serious.
Come to America, Jamie. We're
Yeah,
great.
no, this is different. So let me explain, Greg. So when you go down to the ballot, when you go down to the polling booth on Saturday, right? This Saturday, you've got a little green piece of paper, and in my area, there's 8 candidates in my area. The green is for the House of Representatives. Now, what they want you to do is mark from 1 to 8 who you prefer to have as your vote for a House of Representatives. That's
Nice.
on the green piece of paper. You're not voting for police. You're not voting for anything. You're just putting a number on there. This is the thing. You're just putting 1 to 8 on that green piece of paper. Then you on that white sheet of paper, you're just putting one number on the top line, or you put the numbers on the bottom of the line. It's not like America. It's just it works on a number system.
Okay.
Here in Australia.
All right, that's interesting. That's different. I am happy that they still have paper ballots. I think in Germany, when because I first learned about all this stuff in 2000 when Bush and Gore, and I still think Gore won. And I think there's a reason why Bush. They needed Bush to get in because whatever, it probably would have still been the same with Gore, but they wanted Bush to make the Democrats look good, to make the Democrats look like victims so they could play for 8 years and then get Barack Obama in, et cetera, make sure Biden gets in years later. But so, I mean, that when I first learned about all of the voting thing, one of the first things that I heard was that in Germany at that time, back in 2000, correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm wrong on this, they were still doing paper ballots in a actual open forum where people could actually watch those ballots. And when you compare everything to 2020 because of COVID, it's like they needed COVID.
Yep.
COVID was their George Bush. They really needed that because they were able to do a lot of things to make sure Trump did not win. And I still think Trump won, and I think he's going to win in 2024. And it's not going to end the world. It's not going to solve all of our problems or anything like that either. But I think there was a lot of good things.
I am in 2024 myself. I mean, that's 2 years away. To think about an election that far off is almost hard to even comprehend. With what
you think so?
Yeah,
I mean, we have.
It's just because what I've seen what happened, but I mean, that's in my opinion, when it comes to what happened with Trump, he got too many votes for it to be even faked. Like they couldn't hide it. That was kind of a fluke. I'm still under the impression that he's one of them in a way, but at the same time, it's really hard to believe that they wanted that guy. Maybe to set the stage. Do we really know? We'll never really know. But we can talk it out. We can talk about what's going on.
Sure. I mean, they changed everything. They changed the whole voting process. Things that they would have
after he got elected, right?
Because they should have never
taken at that point. There's too much. This last election, same thing. You got like one person in crickets, right? There's crickets going at Biden, and you have freaking tens of thousands.
There were like
of people.
8 people,
right? Like just crickets. Like okay, here comes
Trump is out there doing almost every weekend. He's out there doing speeches, over 1 hour speeches. Biden's never going to do that. Trump is a WWE Hall of Famer. Come on.
And what Trump could do, because as we all know, these are just they're the face, but they're the people behind the scenes are the ones really pulling the strings. So
true.
But he was, if anyone,
a lot of good for this country.
These libtards are just they won't get it. Like look at gas prices and shit. I mean, everything's insane. Were things bad under Trump? I don't think so, folks.
No,
that's all I can go by.
It just seemed like Trump was never supposed to win. I think they really wanted Clinton.
As if he got too many votes for them to even fake it.
There was a glitch. There was a glitch in the Matrix for 4 years.
There was. He's like, what?
And maybe it'll happen again. Maybe in 2024 it might happen again. He may be the only president to.
Well, Greg, here's the thing.
At least he spoke well and correctly. I mean, we have a president right now that shakes hands with people who aren't there. We have a president right now who doesn't even know where he is. That's the United States.
That's true.
Putin's
that's what they want. That's what they want.
Go after the guy who looked a tiger in the eyes and laughed. Go after the black belt. Go after the strong leader.
He's a KGB operative.
Don't go after Grandpa.
Putin is a cold war. That is just old.
It's a whole different world, right?
Greg.
A whole different scenario of shit.
Yeah. We'll say, Greg.
Right?
So when it comes back
he went through it, Papa Joe
when it comes back
to Trump, but I digress. Yeah.
When it comes back to Australia, Greg, it's compulsory to vote when you're over the age of 18. But here's the thing that I've been saying this for a shit long time.
Yeah.
If myself or Shay or any other Australian citizen who has got no confidence whatsoever to vote for any candidate, why then should it be compulsory to vote? If right now, I don't have any confidence whatsoever.
That's why Greg asked if you had write-in votes,
right?
Which you obviously don't.
But the thing is, we still get punished for not voting. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. What type of punishment?
Votes.
You get heavily fined. You get heavily fined.
So you are unable to write in a candidate other than what they present to you.
I don't. Well, you can't. But I'm not recommending to do that.
Well, what if you do that though? What happens?
So it still get counted.
But who does it get counted for?
Whoever is in the sitting member, whoever the sitting member,
like say you write in. All right, Jamie, say like as Greg said, I'm going to write in Phil Collins.
Yeah.
So you write in Phil Collins. Who does that go to? Which
the sitting person who's currently sitting in Parliament, right?
That's nuts.
So it doesn't matter. It's going to go to who's ever the sitting person. Okay.
Right. I mean that to me is that's more reason for everybody in your country to vote. to vote for somebody
Wow.
or to actually run. I would believe that would be more reason to get some real people out there to make sure that, you know what, we need to at least have some people. Yeah, maybe they only get 20, 30 votes, but screw it. At least those are 20 or 30 real votes that we can build on, actually build something from
But
that.
my
Kind of like
point
here,
is this.
Greg. You know,
But
you
my
vote for
point is
anything
this.
but Republican or Democrat.
It
It's a
should
waste of
not
vote,
be-
right?
My
Same
point is this. My point is
Same
this.
concept.
It should not be compulsory to vote.
No,
in
you're right.
Australia.
No, you're right. You're right.
No,
but how do you
absolutely.
change that? But how do you
But
change
it's
that?
not.
You have
You
to
have
get the
to-
right people
You
in
have,
office.
you have to change the whole constitution.
Okay.
Right, but you got to get the right people in office in the parliament.
got
You
a
have to
magic
vote them
yeah,
in.
yeah.
Which you can't
gotta vote
do
the right people
because
in.
you're not allowed to freaking vote
Which
for
you can't do.
anything.
See, we've got a magic number, which is
Wow.
I think it's 74 or 75. Whoever gets to 74 or 75 first, it's the Prime Minister of Australia.
Mm,
That doesn't make sense.
yeah.
That
And
doesn't
check
make
this
sense.
out. We had a state election here in South Australia last
Sounds
month.
reasonable if you're insane.
Right? Last month here in South Australia, we had a state election, Greg. They were awarding the candidate in that area the winner when there was only 2% of the votes counted.
Well, that sounds like
It was. It's exactly the
California.
same- it's exactly
There
the
were
same.
zero. Trump lost, and there were 0% in. So wait a minute, they haven't even.
That
counted
makes sense.
Yeah.
To somebody who's freaking completely really retarded, that makes sense.
So who is?
I mean, what
So
do
who's
you-
your? So your Australian Prime Minister is
Scott
what's this
Morrison.
guy's
Scott
name?
Morrison. He's part of the World Economic Forum.
Ah, yeah, Scott Morrison.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This guy looks like a tool.
Yeah, he is.
And the other
Him
guy,
and Trudeau are gay lovers, I heard.
and the other guy that's
That's,
running up against
that's
him,
just a rumor.
the other guy that's
Don't
running
quote me
up
on that.
against him, Albanese, he's Labor. He wants to bring climate change here in Australia and clean energy, Agenda 2030. They're already talking about Agenda 2050. Is any one of us here in Australia going to be alive around 2050? I don't know.
Yeah, I would think so. I would
See?
really think, man, the way things are happening in your guys' country, like you got to start planting those seeds. And maybe you have people out there who, you know, maybe they don't have a chance of winning, but at least they have a chance of getting votes and building those seeds, because you guys are fighting against weeds, very low
Right.
weeds. So if you start building those seeds, let them water, maybe over time, maybe you can actually get somebody in there.
We can still do write-ins here. I mean,
it's worth a
especially
shot.
on the local level and the state level. I mean,
Yeah.
that's where you can really make some change. On the national
But
level,
well,
I
that's
think
the-
we're probably not going to be able to do anything
Well,
about that, really.
Well, that's the thing
But
too, Eric and Greg.
That's what
the
it's
thing
going to
too.
come down to.
We had
What?
Arnold Schwarzenegger as a governor here.
I'll be back. I'll be back. But Greg,
I hope he's not
Yeah, bro, I'll
coming
be
back.
back.
Don't bring him back,
No,
please.
no, no.
Gavin
But
Newsom
Greg-
or Schwarzenegger. Oh,
Hey, you know what? As long as we're on this type of subject, what in God's name? I don't know if you followed him. Has happened to Jesse Ventura? He totally
He-
flipped. Like he's
he's
all
in
about
Mexico.
open borders. That, I
He's
don't
in
even think
Mexico.
that's him anymore.
He's in
Jesse
Mexico.
Ventura's in
chilling.
Mexico.
Yeah,
I'm gonna call if you followed him though. Follow what he's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
talking about. He flipped.
yeah. I mean,
Flipped. Like,
he's
what happened to him?
he keeps changing. He's changed. He's
They
changed.
got him. They got
a
a hold
lot.
of him. I mean, at some point,
I
you
don't.
have
I don't
to-
know. I don't think so.
He just
I don't
not,
think
Is
does
he
not
still
seem like the
working
same
for
guy.
RT?
Open board. I don't know.
He's but he's been consistent on the whole border thing, because he's always been against borders. He's been very consistent with that.
It
As
makes
far
no
as what I've-
sense, though. I mean, from
Well, he's a
logical
libertarian.
perspective, to open up
Yeah.
the borders.
I
Like, I'm
know,
waiting
and
for- Like Jesse was one of the people who really exposed the FEMA camp thing, right? I mean, he
Yeah.
really did. So
John
why
F.
would he-
Kennedy. Yeah.
As
Not
long okay,
9/11.
open the borders, but what were the FEMA camps designed for originally? 800
Well, I mean-
and operational. If we had an overflow of immigrants coming into our country, that's where they'd
Yeah.
be housed and processed for wherever they're going to go. Why is he
Right.
not talking about that? He's just open them up. You open them up. I mean, it's just
Yeah, he's just
blowing my mind right now,
anti-war.
breaking my heart because he was doing some really good stuff. He was
Yeah, I
talking
know. I know.
a lot of things that I don't know. Oh, who knows? Maybe
Yeah, I mean, there's-
Alex Jones just said fuck it. Nobody's listening anyway.
Well, Greg, what
I
about,
mean,
Screw
well, Greg, what about
I mean, I
Sanchez?
put
Tangy
my,
tangerine.
I put my work
But, Jamie,
in.
What about Sanchez? You reckon he'll run?
Who's that? Who?
Sanchez in Florida. Will he run for president.
Oh, you mean Ron DeSantis?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. Maybe as vice president, but this is 2024 is all Trump. So I think Ron DeSantis may run in 2028, but Florida needs him. Look at what is happening in Florida. Florida needs a good governor. They finally got one, a governor who actually cares. I think he can do a lot more as the state governor, because I'm more about states than about federal. So I think this is what we really need. We need a good governor.
So there you go. You dropped out. You're back again.
Because I said Ron DeSantis, Disney, Florida.
Yeah.
What was the key word that triggered that? I don't know. But
I don't know.
But no,
warrior,
but I could see him.
Somebody who did the right thing. God forbid having him in office.
I could see him running as the vice president, but I think it would be a big hit to Florida because Florida needs him. They really do. So I hope he stays as a governor for a long time. And he's still young, so he's got plenty of time. People used to talk about Ron Paul. Oh, he's too old. The guy is still out there doing stuff. Yeah. Trump is what, 70, almost 80 or something. He's going to be one of the oldest presidents. And Biden can't even talk right now. I mean, this is just crazy.
Biden's 81 years of age. Yeah.
It's really hard to talk about 2 years from now, though, when you think about what's occurred the last 2 years. You know,
I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to 2024. I think it's going to be a great year. We're going to have 4 great years.
Greg, I think aliens are probably going to freaking kill us all by that time. But
well, they just came out with that, and they didn't find any extraterrestrials, Eric. So problem solved. Yeah. No aliens.
Beam me up, Scotty. Beam me up. Beam me up, Scotty. But Greg, they're doing the primary in Pennsylvania right now.
Yeah, they're doing. Yeah, so we'll see what happens there, right? I mean, they keep talking about they're gonna decertify this and that, but it's just like no, I never bought into any of that stuff. I was hopeful, and I'd love to see it happen, and maybe once Trump gets in and they can release some of these records, maybe that will happen. Most likely not.
Did Trump actually say that he was running?
State and local level is the most important.
It is. It really is. That's what they hate. They hate us at the local level. That's where we can really.
But did Trump actually say that he's going to be running in 2024?
You know, between
say it again,
blue and red states. Go ahead.
Did
Trump actually say that he was going to run in 2024?
Yes.
He did.
Trump will run in 2024. Now, we had somebody, Eric and Jamie, you may have been on that show. I bet somebody $100. I forget the guy's name, but I do remember that show. But yes, Trump, and he was a Trump guy too. And he's like, no, Trump is not going to run in 2020. Trump will run.
Again,
and
a lot
win.
of things can happen in the next 2 years. I
mean, a lot
of things can change. Do we really know? No. It's good to be excited and trying to be positive about stuff.
You have to be.
Try to do instead of the end is near.
The end is near, so sell everything, move to some grassland, and forget about everything. And then, 20 years later, they're still waiting for.
Remember that actor Stephen Wright?
Oh shit! He just done it again.
What's going on?
Stephen Wright, man, the actor, the comedian Stephen Wright. I walked across the street today, saw a khaki run over. It sucked. Do you remember Stephen Wright, the comedian? I mean, those are not fun shows to watch. I mean, we're going to laugh and joke and bring positive energy as far as we can, right up until the apocalypse, folks.
Oh, that guy's hecka funny. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Stephen Wright.
Yeah, he's something else.
I'm just trying to get this email from.
I mean, you have a lot of stations that they do shit like that. Like, I'm so sick of these stations that every fucking year they say the same thing. It's over. End is near.
Right.
It's all. It's gonna happen this year, folks. It's all done.
This is it. Hey, this is the day. Right. This is so.
Schiff, Kiyosaki. They've been saying that for years too. Who do you listen to?
Yeah.
You know what I listen to? I listen to Hot Greg. That's who I listen to. Listen to Hot Greg.
So you're thinking about the end of the world, are you?
No.
Well, instead of that, think about this. Think about me. Think about how hot I am.
No, don't
just focus on that. Okay. The hotness will last. Yeah, the world will burn.
Hell yeah.
I will still be hot when that happens. So join me. Call my hotline,
Great
1-800
stage.
Hot Fans.
All right. Sorry.
Children, parents, get your children's permission.
Yeah, no, don't. Guy, there is a
Nobody gets that joke.
There is a link.
I do.
Guy,
I got
there is
it.
guy
I'm
that's
picking it up when
listening. There
you
is a
throw it
link
down,
up
and I'm picking it back up and throwing it at you. That's how much I get it. You ain't only picking it. You ain't only throwing it down, picking it up. I'm picking it up and throwing it back at you. You feel
Good.
me? See
Right
what
in
I'm
the
saying?
face.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying?
Where is this? Where is this thing that I've just opened up?
Trainwreck. Woo, I'm gonna mute. My bad, Jamie.
No, I've just got something here. I'm just trying to. Yeah, here it is. So, guys, in the chat room, there is a link up in the top. That's hyperlink. You can come on the panel. Just click on it. But anyway, check this out. Greg and Eric.
Yep.
I'm going to open up this. This is what about the WHO? What about it? Right. This is Stand for Health Freedom. U.S. sovereignty is on the line as nations negotiate pandemic treaty. The WHO is creating a public health equivalent of a one world government, yet they don't have the authority to override.
This is the World Health
Constitution.
Assassination, correct?
Yeah. Which they don't have the authority to override the Constitution of the United States, nor its national sovereignty.
And yet they did.
Yep. A pandemic
Yeah, they
treaty
did.
could pave the way for an initiative like the Good Health Path, described by Tony Blair, who used to be the Prime Minister of the UK, Great Britain, as an internationally recognised system of health passes for world travellers. If you believe in bodily sovereignty, parental rights, and informed consent, you must stand up now and let your voice be heard. Right? This is the petition. So the petition is this: to President Dumb Joe Biden Jr. and the President of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives and the individuals serving in the United States Congress, and to Linda Thomas
That would be
Greenfield.
Pelosi, Speaker of the House.
Yeah, and to Linda Thomas Greenfield, U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, and to the Secretary of the U.S. Health and Human Services. Member states of the WHO have begun negotiations for a global pandemic treaty on track to be legally binding through adoption at the 77th World Health Assembly in May, which is next week. Assembly in 2024. Sorry. At the unprecedented special session in November of 2021, the Assembly voted to create an intergovernmental negotiating body to strengthen the authority of WHO governance of global health responses. The undersigned citizens of the United States strongly oppose any involvement in a treaty, agreement, or any other legally binding global document that would hinder United States sovereignty in any area, but especially public health. We oppose policies that require United States citizens to take action directed by a global body in the context of health that also impacts the
Who put
freedom
this
of travel.
out here?
Pardon?
Who put this out here? This petition to sign right here.
What are you talking about?
Isn't this a petition that?
Yes.
Yes, from Stand
Yeah,
for
it's a petition.
Health Freedom.
Who?
Yeah,
and
we also-
I'd like to put it out because it's good.
Yep. We also oppose the inevitable sharing the private health data that underlines the functioning of increased global responses. It is dangerous to allow global agreement to rule the American people in a time of crisis. Additionally, it is imperative that each nation and territory retain their individual sovereignty, especially during times of emergency, so that the entire global community can be protected. The undersigned respectively request the United States decline to participate in any such agreement. The United States government should demand transparency, including public decision period, from the INB in the negotiation for global health agreement. If such agreement is adopted, the United States must immediately opt out and is our right under the WHO Constitution. Please stand with the American people and keep health at home and stop global power grabs for financing private health data and authority. So
A
there,
lot of what you just read is we're unable to change because there were many precedences set during this COVID-19 thing of stuff you just read, which there's nothing they can do. For instance, line 1, the first line you read.
Line 1.
The first thing you read, that was already, and it stood up in the Supreme Courts already that the World Health Organization could step in, and they did. Where do you think the mask mandates didn't come from anything but them?
Well, I mean, isn't that interesting? Isn't it interesting who goes after the WHO and who doesn't? So we have
Correct.
Donald Trump, President Trump goes after them, calls them out on what they say about the China virus, whatever you want to call it. And he's enemy number one from that point here. I don't hear too many people talking bad about the WHO. So this is good. I like this. I like what I'm seeing.
They set the standard. They are the ones who shut down businesses.
Who
Even
are you? Who? I mean, look at the name. Who?
Exactly, but they did. And people allowed it to happen.
Right. All right. Yeah. No. This is what grassroots does. This is what they hate. Right. This is. Back a couple years ago, this would be everywhere. It's probably getting shadow banned. Thankfully, whoever is in the chat room is helping spread this stuff. This is what we need. This is how we're going to get things done at the local level.
Thankfully, we're mispronouncing certain words, so we don't get banned because that's how ridiculous it's gotten. Yeah.
Well, can I say China virus? Is that
I'm not sure, man. I'm unsure
Is
what
that
we're
okay?
allowed to say anymore.
I don't know either. They just shadow ban
bad.
us, so we have no idea what is good, what is bad. And
Greg, you were
Exactly.
part of some of the Handy Suck shows we did. See, it's just it rolls off the tongue instead of saying the right words.
yeah, but you're doing
You
really
were,
good,
and
Eric.
we would show
They
like
have you trained, my
we
friend.
would show like fake. Here's a dad who's grieving. Here's a dad, same
I remember
dad,
that.
and the same
I
day
remember
with a rifle held the wrong. We can't show any of that shit anymore, or even say the name.
No.
It's gotten
You
really
guys
bad.
were wrong for even questioning it. And it's like the whole voter fraud. We're wrong for questioning it. Trump is wrong for questioning.
Yeah.
Where did this? Where did the virus come from? He's wrong for questioning that. He's wrong for questioning
Yep.
who's funding it, who's making money off of it, who these companies are. Like we're all just basically wrong
We're
because we
totally
don't
wrong.
just
There was
do
this huge
whatever.
insurrection, no arms.
It's like a
whatsoever.
Hollywood thing. It's like a Hollywood thing. Like
There's
you just
millions
do
of
it.
militia out there, but they rushed it, and you have,
They're all wrong,
Ashley Babbitt, a freaking well decorated Air Force veteran, laying there dying, and you have two dudes on either side from the BLM going, not doing anything. I mean, it's insane how again you have the dumbed down people and you have the wake people, and then you have some people in the middle. And when you talk about how can we turn the tide, we're looking for the people in the middle, still kind of just figuring out which way to go. I mean, the ones you're either awake or you're not. Okay. And if you're not awake, and if you've taken the jibby jab, well, you're already fucked pretty much.
I'm kind of on the other side with the whole Babbitt
People in
thing
the middle.
because I'm not for storming the Capitol. They've been doing that since George
building.
Washington.
First of all, it's just a building. It's not
Yeah,
the
but I
command
mean,
center.
they were trying to break into that, and it seemed like it was a small group of people that were trying to. I think a lot of people
And
got caught
people
up in it.
directing them in through the red ropes, like go this way. I mean,
The exact same
It was
thing on a
scripted.
smaller level happened to us at Bohemian Grove 2012. The exact same thing. They wanted us to storm the gates. They weren't going to storm the gates.
Really, that happened.
They were trying to incite us to storm the gates.
And
this
those of
came
you who don't
directly-
know, Greg regularly, he lives in California and he drives out and he films Bohemian Grove every year. I remember, I think the
Just
first
about
time
it.
I met you was 2012. Tell us about that. The storm of the gate. I think I do remember that now.
Yeah,
I'm
so
gonna get
there
another
was a
drink. I'll be right back. We're just gonna get another drink. I'll be right back.
Yeah, so it was, I'm a big Cindy Sheehan fan. I don't know if anybody knows who Cindy Sheehan is. If you know about the Iraq War and Casey Sheehan, her son, she camped out at Camp David, wanted to ask President George Bush Jr., why did my son die? And this was back in 2004, 2005-ish, maybe. So it was like I was all gung-ho. And I'm still kind of, I don't know. I don't like to call myself a Cindy Sheehan fan. Like I have no issues with her. But people were in her ear telling her, let's storm the gates here. course, like I said, they didn't storm the gates. They were trying to incite us to storm those gates.
Right.
And that bothered me. You know, Mark Dice was also there in 2012, and I was a huge Mark Dice fan. To me, that was like meeting like maybe not Phil Collins, obviously, because there's no alternatives to Phil Collins, but it was kind of on that level. Meeting Mark Dice after learning about 911 and learning how tricked I was and how foolish I was to not understand what was happening in front of my eyes when those towers dropped, when Building 7 dropped. I didn't get it. It took me 3-4 years to understand. It took
I worked
me
at Detroit Metro Airport.
Did you? Dude,
I was a bar
you got
manager
stories.
at a prestigious bar out there, hotel.
Yeah, you got stories.
But I really didn't realize what was going on.
Yeah,
I was just having my first child, and but at the same time, hearing the pilots talk about it and what was going on. Time flies. You make some great points, though, Greg, as far as where we're at and where we could be and where we can go. And again, not to harp on this, but I go back to those middle ground people, those people that are still, they're not decided. Those are the people you got to hit, because those are the ones that can sway.
Right. But you got to be careful. Got to be careful, right? Because if we go screaming at them to wake up,
no,
that's not going to work, right? It's not going to work. So how
It
do you?
worked for a
And
while
I've been
with
thinking
Alex
about
Jones, but
this.
they kicked him off.
It worked on me with Alex Jones, but it's not
Do
going
you
to work.
listen to him anymore? I mean, does he still?
No,
he
I
still
don't.
has broadcasts, right?
No, after he went silent, on David Crowley, I stopped listening to him. I stopped watching him.
Right.
I still have the bumper stickers on
He's
my
still
car,
in court
but
right
that's it.
now, being sued. Right, you know that, right? For
I'm
dollars over the Handy Sook thing.
Yeah, I saw him on Joe Rogan, and I thought that was great. I mean, I think he's a great.
I thought that was great too. That was fun to watch.
Yeah. No, it was entertainment. Like I was telling Rob in the chat room that I've been watching the whole Johnny Depp case as entertainment, right? I mean, it's not. I don't see it as a distraction, because I can still focus on other things. I can still watch other things and do other things and do other research. But when it is definitely entertainment. But it's entertaining to watch, and at some level, I'm like, this is the worst. If you want to know what Hollywood is like, look at that at this trial, because I love watching trials. Just
and multiply it by 100 if you really
and
want
multiply it by 100. I mean, this is Hollywood. Like, this is how bad things are for those at the time. And I look at their life and I'm like, man, I'm glad I'm just working my 9-to-5 job.
That's when you come to Hollywood, especially people like Depp and others, Madonna, you name it. What they're showing you is only like a small sliver of what really happens in those underground parties and those underground things. I remember he was the bassist of the Scorpions. Do you remember this article that came out? He wrote an article about going to a snuff party and he had to leave. Who was that? Things like that.
Who?
It was the bassist from the Scorpions.
Oh, okay. No, I don't know.
He was freaked out by it. Yeah. I mean, you see these things and they're just passed over, much like Epstein's flight log.
What's the guy from Smashing Pumpkins? Billy Corbin. He owns the NWA wrestling show now, which is awesome. But he was talking about some of that stuff too. And some of these guys are just like, I mean, it just seems like there's a lot more people that really understand
chemtrails and geoengineering, and boom. I mean, Michael Jackson was starting to come out about what was going on, and suddenly he was portrayed as, who knows if he was a good guy or a bad guy, but do we ever really know? The more following you get, the more people that are you're waking up and listening, the harder they're going to attack and make you look bad. And you don't know how you're going to look to other people. You know what I mean? You can only do the best you can and believe in a higher power, period, guiding you.
That's right. Amen to that.
Greg, can I ask you a question about 9/11? What were you doing? And when did you first heard about 9/11 on that day? Because I remember it like that today.
Yeah, I do too. I woke up. I had to work. I worked at a drive-through coffee shop, and I woke up. I turned it on. We had like 4 channels back then. We actually had to go to the TV and turn it on. We had a boob tube, what they called a boob tube back then. And I turned it on and I was watching it. And it's like, okay, whatever. I went to work. I get to my job. This lady comes just screaming almost out like, did you see what happened? I'm like, so what? What does it have to do with me? I didn't give a crap. I still look back and I'm getting chills right now, man, because I was so selfish. I was so in my own world. I had so many problems. I was more worried about just me.
A better question, Greg, might be when you did wake up to it.
When did you do that? Yeah.
I understand. I
remember that. I remember that clearly too. I was at a security job in 2004 to 2005. I was listening to a radio show, and they mentioned a caller called in, mentioned bombs in the building, and I was like, "What? Bombs in the building? What the heck are they talking about?" And the towers falling, and then my future brother-in-law gave me the movie Loose Change. And I watched that.
Ding ding.
That changed everything.
A friend of mine gave me Loose Change. I watched it. The biggest thing for me over all that was watching the clips of people like fucking jumping off the building.
Yeah.
That's when I started, along with the Loose Change. And Loose Change showed a little bit of that, but just once you. That's the new Pearl Harbor, first of all. And we can go to Pearl Harbor and talk about what a false flag that was too, but we won't. But 9/11.
This could be bigger. I think it may be bigger than Pearl Harbor.
Engineer or architect out there that can say that Building 7 fell the way it did from office fires. Not one. In fact, it wasn't even in the official NIST report. Yeah. Building 7 wasn't even in it. How does a 49-story skyscraper free fall speed from office fires, and it doesn't even make the book? Building 7 is not in the 911 Commission report either. Not even there. And then it fell.
Once I learned that, I was like, "What the heck?"
Right.
But I watched it. I watched this live. More. I watched the building. I watched Building 7 fall, knowing a building didn't hit it, and it did not register to me.
And
I was in this trance. I was in a trance.
And Greg, what about this? The BBC reporter was documenting half an hour or 45 minutes before the building fell that Building 7 collapsed, and here it was standing right behind her. How did she know that Building 7 was falling?
I did like an hour and a half rant.
She actually answered that
on the Sentinels of Truth station about will the real Osama bin Laden still stand up? I think it's still on there because that just when you go down, once it catches you, man. Once you wake up again, once you get out of that trance, as Greg said, and a lot of people are in this trance.
It prompted me. It prompted me to write this little book. Okay, just a little book for people for my family, for my friends that don't know about this, that will never watch a 911 video, will never look at the 911 truth stuff. They won't do that. But you know what? Maybe someday they may read my book. That's who I made this for. And everything that we've just talked about, it covers all of that stuff.
From you.
How do you not have this book?
I don't.
Didn't I send this to you?
Do you have all Jeff Hayes' books? Yeah.
No, I only have 2. I only have the first 2.
I'll send you. Well, I'll send you the new one.
I want the new book.
We'll do a trade.
I want the new book.
I haven't read your book on 9/11.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely.
9/11. There's a thing I forget what it's called. It's a Disclosure Act, and after 25 years, they have to open up records that they never have. And we're coming up on that with 9/11.
Right in time for Trump 2024
things, and that will.
The way that I start this book is with Trump. He is one of the first people to really talk about bombs in those buildings.
Yes.
But not too many people do.
Sharing him saying there are bombs in the buildings. That's when my support for Trump went like way down though, because he never brought it up again.
But here's the thing. Melissa says this in the chat room.
Never again, but
check this out. Melissa says this in the chat room. Once they start dragging our family members out of our homes, then people will wake up who won't. Well, here's the thing, Melissa. They were starting to drag people out here in Australia, especially in some places on the East Coast. But nobody gave a shit about that. Majority of the public of Australia, back in 2020, when they were dragging and kicking doors down in New South Wales, No one really gave a shit about that. So if they're
They
not
don't have
like,
to drag people out of the homes.
Okay, but
They're willingly
Jamie,
lining up to
Exactly.
but Jamie,
murder bees.
how many people knew that that was happening?
Right. People don't know.
only
it's
those that
happening.
were
Good
awake,
point.
I reckon. And
Exactly.
like I'm saying, those people that are awake, we're the minority. It's only fucking
Right.
this big compared to the rest of the.
We are the minority. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, we're
Let's
the
talk
minority.
about the jab rates in your country. What are they right now? Do you know
They reckon. Well, here's the thing.
what they tell you? How many are jabbed versus how many are not?
They reckon that we've got the highest rate in the world when it comes to vaccinations.
That's what I've heard. Here in the United States,
And cases? How many
No,
cases?
the amount of
I'm
people
gonna
who took
look
the
at that.
No. When it comes to vaccination, where
who's taking
Yeah.
the jab? No, don't say that word. You get a strike, man.
But can you compare
Wait a
how many
minute.
people have taken that to how many
Vaccination's
people are
good.
still
Whoa,
getting
whoa,
cases?
whoa. We're overlapping.
Oh, my bad.
We're overlapping. What was
Be
that?
careful with the words, man, because they'll give you a
Yeah, I know.
strike. Say they're
I know.
good. They're good for you.
Yeah.
In the United
Oh.
States, Greg, the numbers I got right now are from what they tell us, which is probably not true, but it might be. It's about 1/3 of the United States. Is that the numbers you're coming up with for people who have been jabbed?
Yeah, I'm looking at world O.
It's about 1/3, I think, is what they're telling us. Which it might be a little. So it's not even half yet. So I mean,
So-
that's positive to build on.
There's
If you
already
look
a-
at some of the Australian numbers,
I think
right,
it's about
so-
100,000 for the U.S. Just
let me say this, Greg.
100
Let
million.
me just say this.
Yeah.
So, just before the rollout came here, just over 12 months ago, around about 18 months ago, right? We will rank 149th in the world when it comes to any death due to COVID. And yet we had the most restrictive lockdown measures in the world. We were ranked 149th in the world.